sounds as good as WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so the time here in SVG, it is 8:10, and we are back with you for another Activated Mornings program here on WEFM. All right, and as usual, my Monday co-host is in studio with me, Dr. Gerald Thompson. Good morning to you, Doc.
Good morning there, Roleza. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure being the program on Monday morning. I wish I could do it more, but busy. And wonderful week we've had. I mean, I heard you talk about that report coming out of, on sandals and so forth. I mean, that's big. That's massive. Mm-hmm. I mean, that seems like a justification. And so, and I think that's something to be celebrated. But you know what it's also going to do? It's also going to lift a lot of the other hotels. It's going to speed up that Grenadines thing, in terms of recovery, and I'm happy. I'm happy to hear about that.
All right. How was your weekend, though?
Well, it was mainly, as you know, Doris Mackey. She had her funeral on Thursday, but we got together with the family, the boys, mm-hmm. Juggy, Mackey, Cess, Joel, and Wally.
Okay. I only know the name. I don't really know too much about her.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you come from a running family, and so these are athletes, and so your dad would know them very well. And basically, we had a nice day yesterday. Okay. A nice day yesterday, and it's a pleasure to pay honor to some of these individuals.
Okay. All right. We have somebody on the line. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
How are you?
I'm all right. What about you?
I'm Mr. Jack here. Good morning, Dr. Thompson.
Hi. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. I just want to find out, where is Dianna?
She should be back in tomorrow. Yeah, she should be back in. Yes.
Yes, I just want to find out. All right, thank you.
All right, no problem. All right. So, ma'am, to you too. Thanks. Happy New Year. All right. So, my apologies, folks. So, yes, I know that Friday I announced that she'd be back today, but it appears that she'll be back tomorrow. All right. So, yeah, that's what it is for at this time. But she's okay. All right. For those inquiring if she's physically, mentally okay, she is okay to both. All right. When she comes in, she'll let us know what she was up to. Right. Because it's her business to tell, not for me to tell her business. All right. So, Doc, you hearing? You hearing properly?
I'm hearing, yes.
Okay. All right. All right. So we are going to head on in. Any other prelims that you want to talk about, or you jump right into the story?
No, let's jump right into it.
All right. So we are going to head on into the story at this time. Reading from Searchlight, and they're saying, or ACP Trevor Bailey is saying, better otherwise known as Buju. He's saying that police officers serving search warrants at homes of suspects are being asked to obey the law and act with respect when dealing with civilians. He's saying that over the years, numerous complaints have come from persons who claim that officers go to their homes with search warrants, refuse to show them the warrant, while at times the warrant is shown, but persons are not allowed to read it. All right. There have also been instances where wrong names have been placed on the warrants, and police officers have still forced their way into people's homes. All right. So he was speaking on NBC at the time. And so he said that the police force is currently working on a citizens charter, which will outline the rights of persons who may come in contact with members of the constabulary for whatever reason. So he's also making one of the things that also stood out to me when I read this. So I said it's on Searchlight, so you can read the full article there. One of the things he said is that officers are executing search warrants, and something as simple like common decency or common courtesy is, their shoes might be muddy, they're aware that their shoes are muddy, but they're going into people's homes with the mud on their shoes, standing on tables, standing on chairs, etc., with their dirty shoes, right? And then he's also saying that police do not have the right to meet you in the road and say, "Come with me, follow me to the barracks." Now, you see this latter part of it. I actually wish that it was expanded on, and maybe we could probably try to see if we can take that up in Cop Chat one of these Thursdays, in terms of what are the rights of citizens when an officer meets them in the road. Because I'm curious, are they supposed to say what exactly it is that they are looking to pick you up for? Should that be disclosed up front? Right? So that was just something there. Yes, we have heard over the years, being made in the public sphere, that police officers, that because they have it's police force, they actually use the actual force to go into people's homes and without respecting them. And this is also where the breakdown tends to happen between police officers and civilians, because persons feel as though they're not respected. So yes, police officers do have a legal document. They do have a search warrant, but it does not give them the right to disrespect somebody's home or even disrespect a person when trying to execute those search warrants.
Yes, I think it's overdue. It's timely yet overdue that he makes those particular statements, that things have to be done properly. There's so many instances where good, solid cases are thrown out because the technical procedures were not done correctly. Reading somebody's rights, Miranda rights, in terms of you could keep silent and all that kind of stuff and so forth. You could seek legal protection, but this is the case. I want to say that we see images on television, right, of people turning up to a door and have a search warrant, and often you see them barge in, right? Matter of fact, you see sometimes they have kind of devices to knock down doors and so forth and kick their way in. So things have to be put in a context that if there's an emergency call, somebody calls and says, there's somebody trying, is a caller?
Yeah. All right. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, you're introducing Dr. Thompson as your co-host. That was a little surprising to me. I didn't know he's so big, on WEFM anyhow.
Yeah, every Monday morning, Dave.
No, this is my first morning, Dave, as on a Monday morning. You know that. It's my first.
Okay, I'm happy for the introduction.
You are happy?
It's just that
it doesn't sound so.
Dave, you're something else, no?
It doesn't sound if you're happy.
I say you're something else.
I've been inflated and elevated. Say it like it is. Dr. Thompson, this is nothing. You go out there, say it. Huh?
It's just how you conduct yourself. That is what I am always looking at, how certain people conduct themselves. Because sometimes
Dave, I always.
Who are you talking to? Me or Doc?
Roleza, you're talking to, right? You're worried about how Roleza conducts herself? I mean, a big old man like me, how I conduct. I've gone through battles, man. You worried, Dave, about how I conduct myself? Dave, I'm worried about how you conduct yourself. Let me put it that way.
Bye.
I'm worried about you.
Way back.
All right. Anyway, go on, Dave. David, yeah. You're surprised that I'm a co-host on the Monday morning. All right. Okay.
All right. Okay. That was just my saying.
This year, Dave, what I'll tell you, this year's January, I hope you're not surprised it's January 2025. You may think it's 2016.
Doc, you just as bad as Dave. Dave, go ahead for me.
Give it him a little.
Go ahead, please, Dave.
I waited. I didn't expect to live so long. Now we talk about January 2025.
That's what I'm saying. I'm surprised. I know you're surprised at that. I know that.
I'm grateful. I'm I'm happy. I'm happy I have to put up with people like you still. I mean, going back to the days in honest way. The reason why you caused me to react right away because I heard you call the names of the Mackey family, and of course, in our younger days, we all would have been
On the
together.
rim. On the rim.
Yeah, all of that. But I'm just making the point is that how some of us, after we go through life, some of us separate politically, economically, and that sort of thing. I'm just looking at it in a very broad perspective.
That's
when some
normal.
of us get rich, or we get
The rich and
important,
switch.
Yes.
So I'm just,
What you
but
trying
it's
what
good
for
to
this?
hear-
There's a
listen.
place, you know where Texaco gas station where Rubis now
course I
gas
know.
in Annisville? That's was called the Rim. That's where the boys, Annisville guys, hang out. Dave was a staple on the Rim.
All
You know what I mean?
right, all right.
Dave was a staple on the Rim.
Again, so much to talk about. You remember? Look our friend there. You remember the tall guy who used to be there? Well, he passed on about 2 or 3 years now. I
Yes.
can't even recall. I'm talking about Julian Forbes,
Exactly.
we were very close and all of that. But, as I hear you mention it, and let me say again, I did pay my extend condolences to the Mackey family. And they were not the only Mackey. In fact, sometimes I wonder how we had, I think it's 2 brothers. Yeah, two or 3 brothers living in Honnestville, the Joe Mackey and them father, and the senior nurse from Beckway was married to the other one who used to be an X-ray. I think he was in charge of the X-ray at the. I forget his first name. All right, and then so. It's good to hear some of these close connection, and it brings back some very nostalgic feelings, and I say sometimes to myself, boy, I wish those days could come back again. But it's the offspring. It's how those of us who came out of that. It's how we conduct ourselves, and I use the word conduct again. It's how we live our lives, and don't believe. Well, another prime minister loves to say, "Well, nobody better than you, and you ain't better than nobody." But sometimes I think that is used just as a saying, and not with any significant meaning and so on. So I extend condolences to the Mackey family again. I mean, we all had our times together. And just hope they keep the faith going wherever they are. They're not, how much of them? Well, we are Cecilia still and Joe. And Wally, 3 of them are here. Oh, yeah. So thanks, I just take this chance to say, to pay tribute to the family and all of that. And I'm glad you bring back that nostalgic feeling to me at one time. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Dave. Doc, what?
I'm not going to say anything more on that. I mean, Dave, I've always considered him to be a little stuck in the 70s, the 1970s. But that's as an aside. Getting back to Bailey, we have this impression of people breaking out. If they're looking for guns and they come to the door and say, oops, we have a search warrant, but we could go back and come back a little later. What does that mean in that space of time? If a person does have certain things, contraband or what, they now have an opportunity to get rid of it. A search really involves some element of surprise, but it really must be done properly and executed. Allowing somebody to read the warrant and presenting it to them if they want to sit down and take a photo of it and clip it, and maybe a few minutes might be lost in that way, but you've kept within the confines of the law. I also feel that the suggestion that you try and wipe your shoes off and so because searching, going into the ceiling and so forth, unless you walk with ladders, and so I could see how people would get onto a table and all that, and that can be offensive in some way, but they're not walking with special ladders. And if there's 6-7 of them doing the search warrant, all of them with some device and so to that. No, I think that they typically would put on some gloves. They basically would have some means of protecting, but they should go that extra step of making sure that they don't dirty up the carpet and the tabletops and so on.
Yeah, I think it's just the little things because the police and what is it? Police? Well, no, they say police and somebody can't be friends. I don't want to say that, but they tend to say police and citizens are not friends, right? But again, in order for persons, no, well, it's tend to be said.
No, I think it goes.
But it's
you may be right though.
Well, you mean and vice versa. All right, let's put on the vice versa after, right? But it also goes back to the little things in terms of if you show a little bit of respect, even in the way in which you apprehend a person. You're going to, let's say you want to haul them off to jail, even the way in which you do that. Yes, you are going to have to use some physical manpower, right? But it also, you can still also show a little bit of respect.
We all go back to that incident in the United States where police were on a man's neck, cut off his basically air supply, George Floyd. And so I've heard Trump say, man, hold them and push them in. And when you're pushing it, there's a way of pushing them into a car where you hit their head, you get their head and push it in first. And he said, if they hit their head, don't mind that. When you have incidents of crime, there's a section of our society that wants you to be tough, rough, deal with the guys, beat them up, and so forth. And there are others who would say, you've gone too far. Be very gentle with them.
You mean human rights? Huh? Human rights? Basic human rights?
Human rights. But if we were to have 10 murders and so forth, I bet you see a peak. People say, man, don't even get no search warrant. Eliminate them. The people even advocate the police do some other extrajudicial measures to get rid of people, because going to court and doing all these kind of things will take too long and it's too soft, and especially guys who know their rights have been a little bit more educated and so forth, that they will maybe take a different stance.
But for me, you have to be able to find that balance. Yes, force has to be used in a particular context, not overdone, but respect also has to be shown, because it's the same citizens you're going to be needing or relying on whenever it is that you need for information to be brought forward.
Yes, I agree, but not the criminal citizens. You know what I mean? Not the criminal citizen. You may not necessarily rely on them because they have a pact not to divulge and so forth. They may be afraid to give any information. But I'm talking about this duplicity where when it's quiet, when it's relatively quiet, we preach human rights. When it's not quiet, we want roughness, we want toughness, we want aggressive police.
I think I can see that. I can take that. I can take that point.
And why is that? So why do we switch like a pendulum?
Because at the point when more is happening, we are more passionate, we are more enraged. So whatever it is happens as a consequence, then we not necessarily okay with it.
3-4 weeks ago, we went through 2024 with a certain amount of murders. You would expect that within the next month.
What comes to my mind, or we have a call, but what comes to my mind when I speak of this is the incident in South Rivers when the attempted robbery of I think it was Gecko. It was just Gecko. Yeah. Yes. When the villagers were the ones who captured them. And I was of the opinion, okay. Hi, caller. Good morning. Yeah, so like a hypocrite. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Roleza. Good morning, Dr. Thompson.
You have a minute. You have 1 minute.
Yes. All I basically want to say is that respect is earned. Okay, respect is earned. Respect is not a right. And I want to put another plug in for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Ever so often I run into folks, leaders, prime ministers and so on. And when I say I'm from St. Vincent, I'm Vincentian. The very first question they ask me is, how's my boy Ralph? And it kind of stops me in my track, because I do not live in St. Vincent. I can only go on what I hear on radio. Believe it or not, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is highly respected worldwide. I don't know what he does in St. Vincent. That's for you people to consider. So remember, we are global, and whenever there's a commentary, the world listens to that commentary. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Joshua. That's an interesting thing. The world listens to your commentary. So, you know what? Let me take it up another time.
Yes.
Let me take it up another time. Because it's almost like, and I'm not sure, I don't think Joshua meant it in this way, but it's almost like, especially because you're on the airwaves, you should be mindful of what other persons hear. But we're speaking to citizens, right? It's a station that is here in SVG.
Yeah.
So we are speaking to our citizens. And it just means that persons outside are also listening. So do we tailor what we say? We shouldn't.
But I'll tell you something. There are people in other countries, white supremacists, people who are anarchists, who are saying some crazy things too. But one thing is that one comment, like what we say how with sandals and so forth has gone viral, you may well find if somebody goes out and says, St. Vincent is the worst place in the world, that could also go viral. And I'm not saying that by any means. So nobody take that clip and turn it into anything else.
All right, so we have to take a break at this time as it is 8:30 and we are expecting a call from the court's representative at this time.
Just for you at Quartz Optical. Get 15% off when you